an Academy Award nomination. Does that thrill you? Do you say, yeah, it would be nice, but what?
You know, at the risk of sounding egotistical, I expected to get nominated. I didn't, you know, I would have been very surprised if I wasn't. But to be very honest, I would like to win.
You'd like to win. What do you think the odds are of your winning?
I don't know what the odds are, but I looked at all the films. I've seen all the competition, and I know where I stand. I heard someone say it's a close race. I heard it today. I think they said it was a close race between Clint Eastwood and Al Pacino. Hey, I love Clint Eastwood. Nothing against Clint Eastwood. And Clint Eastwood has put in his time. And I think he deserves to win Best Director or whatever because he's put in his time. I would have something to say if he won. I'm not knocking the man, and he's great. He's great, and I've loved his movies and all of that. But, you know, I'm an actor. I know what I like, and I've seen all the films.
In fact, you had no real ambition. Your first ambition was to be a journalist, in fact.
When I started college, I went to college because my mother said, go to college. And, you know, that's what you do. And I figured, well, I'll be a doctor. And I took a course called chordate morphogenesis. At that time, not only could I not spell it, I couldn't even say it. So that cured me of being a doctor. Then I moved into political science, and I figured I'd be a lawyer. Then I began to study journalism. In fact, completed a major in journalism, and then I moved into theater. So I think I was working my way toward the arts without knowing it. I didn't have any examples. I never grew up.
Was there kind of a moment when you knew you wanted to be an actor? Was it just, you know, were you on stage for the first time or wherever it might be?
Yeah, my first two plays that I did was, I got the lead. In the first play I did Eugene O'Neill's The Emperor Jones, and the second play I did was Othello. And in college, and I got great response, and agents started calling and all of that. So I'm like, hey, I'll do it. This is for me. This is my call.
But do you find it easy? Do you find it natural to be on stage, to actually, do you enjoy it? Do you feel fulfilled by it?
I enjoy it. You know, I had enough sense, and I'd had a lot of training in other areas, athletics, to know that your natural ability can only take you so far. So I did a lot of studying after college and for 6 or 7 years, and I thought, you know, I'd be on Broadway one day and make $600 a week. That would be it. I mean, I never thought about the movies.
Yes, and you were a struggling actor, that's what you were.
Yeah, still am.
I'll tell you.
You played a British soldier, come back from 3 para or something,
right.
and couldn't make a life for himself. But I was convinced that you were a British actor because the English accent was perfect.
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
No, I know you weren't a British actor, I know that now. But the accent was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, Americans have a tough time doing a British accent. Usually they can't do it. They usually overdo it. Yeah. How did you learn it? What did you do to learn it?
Well, the director of the film, Martin Stellman, who was really quite smart, he had me live with a family on the East End on Wager Street. You heard of Wager Street? Anybody know Wager?
Yeah, we know all
Wager
that stuff.
Street.
You
yeah.
probably mispronounced it.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, it's Wager Street, off of the Mile End Road. And I just lived with this family, and
you learned how to talk.
Yeah, we all got drunk every night, and you know, I really got into the culture. So when I look at Al Pacino, and I know he's been nominated 8 times, and I know he's one of the reasons I became an actor. You know, when I look at Pacino and De Niro and Hoffman and James Earl Jones, those are the people I said, I want to be like them. When I didn't know what an actor was, because there was nobody in my family that was acting, I said, I want to be like him. I want to use my hands the way Pacino uses his hands. I want to use, you know, my voice the way James Earl Jones uses his, or be as intense as De Niro. So those guys are the reason I'm in the game. So I wouldn't be sad if he won. I want to.
But you had a mentor, didn't you, Sidney Poitier?
Sidney was, you know, he came and saw me in a play back in '81, and he said, you're good. I said, thank you. But he was someone that I was able to call over the years. In fact, one year I was offered an awful film, but for a lot of money. And I was really sick about it, and I just wasn't sure if I should do it. And I called him up, and he told me, he said, you know, the first 3 or 4 films that you do will determine how you're perceived in this industry. So be real careful about what you choose, and if you don't feel good about it, then don't do it. I'm like, well, he's rich. Well, it's easy for him to say. You know? And I didn't do it. And in fact, 6 months later, I was in England. I was in London preparing to do Cry Freedom.
I always say the time to worry about flying is when you're on the ground. There's no point in worrying about it when you're up in the air. It's too late.
Yes.
So trust the pilot you're going with, right? And the co-pilot or whatever the titles are. But this is a group of people that it's real easy to trust for obvious reasons. So even if we had made a bad movie, let's say, I'm sure we would have had a good experience, you know, and I know everybody would have brought 100% as they did of themselves to it. And that's a success for me. That's successful. That's successful filmmaking. You know, sometimes it works. We've all been there. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't. You know, we've all been there. So, but that's a good recipe.
Women lust after you.
One of my first teachers and mentors, you know, a guy by the name of Bob Stone, God rest his soul. He said, you know, if you're ever intimidated by anyone and when you're moving up in the business, and he also thought I would do well in the business, he said, just think about them sitting on the toilet with their pants down around their ankles.